Good evening. It is 8:30 and it's time to read the Bible, and tonight we are going to read Revelation chapter 8. Last night, we read about the 144,000 who will be sealed, and those are 12,000 from each of the tribes of Israel. And we read that list, read some other things too. And so tonight we're going to read about the seventh seal and the golden censer, that's C-E-N-S-E-R. When the Lamb opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. Then I saw the seven angels who stand before God, and seven trumpets were given to them. And another angel came and stood at the altar with a golden censer, and he was given much incense to offer with the prayers of all the saints on the golden altar before the throne. Now let me say this. When it says saint, when it refers to saints, it's talking about all of the saved. If you are saved, you are a saint. That's scripture. That's how we're referred to in several different places. That's who the saints are. So when it says the prayers of all the saints, that's all our prayers. Everybody who's saved, all of our prayers. And the smoke of the incense with the prayers of the saints rose before God from the hand of the angel. Then the angel took the censer and filled it with fire from the altar and threw it on the earth. And there were peals of thunder, rumblings, flashes of lightning, and an earthquake. And then the next section is titled The Seven Trumpets. And it starts here and it goes on through chapter 9, but we're just going to stop at the end of chapter 8. The seven trumpets. Now the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared to blow them. The first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed hail and fire mixed with blood, and these were thrown upon the earth. And a third of the earth was burned up, and a third of the trees was burned up. A third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. Now, a third of the earth, a third of the trees, and all the grass. So any animal that lives on green grass, they're going to starve because it's all been burned up. And I don't know if it means permanently, but even if it's just a few days, you think about how long it takes for grass to start back up. The second angel blew his trumpet, and something like a great mountain, burning with fire, was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood. Now this great mountain, some people say that it would be something like a comet or a meteor or something like that, because those things are big. It was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood. Now that could be as simple as killing so many sea creatures that it caused it to be blood, or it could have been a miracle where the water was turned to blood. But either way, a third of the sea turned to blood. And if you've ever been on the ocean, if you've ever been on a boat or anything like that, the boats, the motors are made so that they have to have a certain mixture of water and so forth and so on. Something like this is going to mess all the ships up. Plus the smell. Just the smell. A third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. See? The third angel blew his trumpet, and a great star fell from heaven, blazing like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not saying one way or the other, but if you're old enough to remember Chernobyl, when that atomic, when that nuclear power station went down in Chernobyl, and all the people who died and how much destruction it was. Somebody pointed out, and I don't know how true this is because I don't speak Russian, but they said that Chernobyl was Russian for wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many people died from the water because it had been made bitter, and that can also mean poisonous. The fourth angel blew his trumpet, and a third of the sun was struck, and a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of their light might be darkened, and a third of the day might be kept from shining, and likewise a third of the night. Then I looked, and I heard an eagle crying with a loud voice as it flew directly overhead, Woe, woe, woe to those who dwell on the earth, and at the blast of the other trumpets that the three angels are about to blow. Now that's the end of chapter 8. Now, and I know I've said this before, and I'm going to keep saying this. Jesus did not reveal this to John to scare us. He's telling us what's happening. Now, a lot of this stuff, John is looking at it from things that he knew and could recognize. So things that we see today, just imagine our great-great-grandparents seeing some of the things that we see today, and they may have no words to describe it. Well, that's the way it was with John. Some of the things he was seeing, some of the things he's seeing, if someone today saw it, they might recognize it for what we call it. But somebody back then, he's calling it the best way he can. And I've used this as an example before. Just think somebody who was alive 150 years ago, and you tell them, I can sit in my living room in my chair and look at a box on the other side of the room, and I can see things that are going on the other side of the world. I don't have to do anything but push a button, and I can see things on that box that are happening right now on the other side of the world. Well, they would think you were crazy. Well, what are we doing? We're watching live TV. We can watch news all around the world. Just as things are happening, we can see it happening. So that's what I'm talking about. The things that we see that he was seeing might make perfect sense to us, or it might not. It still might be so off the wall we can't even fathom it. But I'm just saying, John was describing things as best he could with the knowledge that he had. So this is not to scare us. This is to prepare us. And all I can say is, if you are prepared to go to heaven, that's fine. If you are not sure, please make sure. I will be glad to talk to you. I can think of lots of people. If you have a home church, or somebody that you know has a home church, go to that church, talk to the pastor or one of the deacons or one of the seasoned Christians. Anybody who's been a Christian very long should be able to tell you how to make sure that you're saved, because that's the important thing. It's good to talk to the preacher, but it doesn't have to be a preacher. If it's a Christian who is seasoned, and if they don't know, if you ask them and they don't know, I'm sure they will say, well, come on, let's go talk to somebody else and let's make sure, because that's something you want to make sure. And once you are sure, you can be sure. It's like, until you know, you don't know. So I would encourage you, if you are not sure that you're saved, please make sure. I don't know how the end of times is going to be. I know what I've read, but there's a lot of different possibilities. I don't want to be here during some of that stuff. I don't want to be here, and I don't know of anybody I know that I want to be here during that time. So anyway, thank y'all for joining me tonight. I will come back tomorrow night, and we will read the next chapter in Revelation. Thank y'all.